Love you, Linda. Love you.
The courthouse the other day in the hallway, you're singing "Oh Happy Day."
One word prayer. Justice, where are you?
And Just to Serve TV is on the air. Linda Kenney Baden, how are you?
Well, you know what? There are days, some days you wonder why it is we do what we do, because the world seems to be falling apart. I know I felt that way. Tomorrow is the anniversary of 9/11.
Yes.
When I was driving, and I was actually the last car stopped before going through the Lincoln Tunnel. If I had gone through the Lincoln Tunnel, I wouldn't have gotten home for about 4 or 5 days, apparently, because I was going to federal court. And I remember arguing with the cop, I have to be in federal court. I have to be in federal court, not knowing what had actually happened.
Yeah, little did you know at the time. So today, Charlie Kirk, conservative supporter, commentator, shot, killed in Utah, putting on one of his events. Turning Point was his company. At this point, person still at large, whoever it may have been, no real clue about. They were going to have a presser this evening to talk about obviously what they do know and what they don't know. But a tragedy, unbelievable. Reminds you of the Butler, PA attempted assassination of Trump, which did not happen. This was successful. The video is horrifying. Don't watch it if you
don't watch it.
Avoid it. Don't watch it.
You and I watch it. It's horrifying. It's worse than the arena video, which I thought was pretty bad. That we saw, worse than the Kennedy assassination, because that was a far view. There's a brutal film which we mentioned this week, and can I say one other thing? People have been posting. They arrested some older white gentleman, right? Yeah. And it was a wrong arrest. All right, he was standing next to somebody. He was just an old white guy in shorts. He wasn't carrying a gun. I mean, you could see. I mean, he's all white. And people have been posting, and people were saying, "Kill him, shoot." Take that down. He was let go. It's not him, okay? Yeah. And for those people that have left it up, take it down, okay? Because that wasn't him. And you call somebody else to get killed, which we don't want.
And I heard a supporter who was there saying, "I saw when they arrested this guy. His name is blah blah blah. It's not him," and it was not. Yeah. So I mean, and I've heard these news outlets saying crazy things like maybe it was a supporter in celebration. I mean, what a moron. Anyway, I tell you, heartbreaking. His young family, 2 young kids, wife, and
no matter what side you're on, I'm a Democrat. Okay, all right. You don't do this. You don't have a right to do this. You don't have a right to take people's life. This is why we cover murder trials in this channel. There is no right.
So, with that being said, the plan was and is to do the 5 things that we think may lead to the charging indictment of Harvey Adelson. Obviously, we did Wendy the other day. We were going to do Harvey yesterday, but we had the pleasure of Stephen Webster coming on, Dan Markel's attorney, who has some amazing insights into the case, obviously into Dan Markel, and he's doing some really some fine work in keeping the focus of the Adelson family case at the forefront, which is Dan Markel and now those kids. Shall we get into that?
Yes,
I'm still a little distracted, but
let's do the show, because I mean we are talking about all sorts of issues dealing with crime. So let's do the show, and we will find out who did this, and obviously the justice system hopefully will work for the person.
Yeah, everybody had been scrambled. I mean, it happened only about 3 hours ago, give or take. So FBI is en route, ATF, all of that. Okay, number 5. You remember there was talk of a birthday gift that was going to be given to Harvey Adelson. Remember that?
I remember that. Right.
Okay. So I believe that there is a little bit of testimony on that topic, and it is important in that. And I'm looking for the video here. It is the tip of the iceberg, I think. This in and of itself, is it going to be the end all be all?
Yeah, and while you're looking for that, never forget 911. Please remember my brother tomorrow. So while you're looking for that.
Yes, while I'm looking for it.
We're distracting. Yeah.
To be honest, I thought this was it, but I may be wrong. So it's fine.
Well, that's because you and I have been distracted this afternoon.
Yeah, no excuse. The show must go on. So let's see if I've got the right. I don't think this is the right thing. So I don't want this to show yet. This is one of my things. This is one of the top 5, but I can't seem to find the one I was actually looking for. So I apologize. This one is jury asked. Okay, I think I'm onto something. Again, this would be the top 5 reasons we think there is evidence that Harvey Adelson could be, will be, might be arrested and possibly convicted of what? Well, that's a different story. We're going to get into that soon enough. But let me give you this first here. Again, I keep threatening to have the right one, and I'm not sure that it is. But this one I think is it. This testimony you'll recall, I think. And you want to identify this man? This Mr. Corbett, correct? Or a lieutenant, or is he sergeant? Or
Sergeant.
Anyway, here we go.
Now, in June, specifically on June 7th, did Donna Adelson and Charlie Adelson exchange texts about this birthday present for Harvey Adelson again?
Yes. So slide 137, we see 2 chats between Charlie Adelson and Donna Adelson, where Charlie indicates he's okay, have fun, still working on Dad's B-Day present. And Donna Adelson responds, I know it's a tough B-Day being 70 and all, but I know you'll come through.
So now let's discuss this as why I think it might be of interest and see if you agree, disagree. First of all, you would have to believe, and it's possible, but you would have to believe that Harvey knew nothing about the importance of getting Dan Markel out of the lives of Donna Wendy Adelson. Okay, you have to believe that first. And then you'd have to believe that getting him the birthday gift, the murder of Dan Markel, was also something that they didn't think he would want, that this would be a gift to him. Well, I've not gotten a lot of gifts of that magnitude ever, but when you get a gift,
never to get one.
Yes, when you get a gift that has, like something of weight, you give it to them because you think they want it, right? You don't get it. Hey, here's a broken table. Well, no, but my belief is there's tons more evidence that Harvey made it clear that would be a great birthday gift. What do you think?
Okay, so let me just first say that Harvey has not been charged at this point. And for everybody, remind everybody that even if he is charged, he is presumed innocent in the court of law unless until he's found guilty beyond a reasonable doubt by a jury of his peers. And I want to filter in the fact that Stephen Webster last night thought Harvey kind of like went along. He didn't really know. So the question is, what does went along mean? Could it be that they were going to see, he said, I hope the guy drops dead once a few times, and this would be a great gift. Look what happened. He's not in our life anymore. I think that if you have other stuff, it may point to maybe an accessory after the fact, as opposed to maybe planning before the fact.
Yeah, and that's why I included this little tidbit. I thought we should talk about that distinction. This is one of the few pieces of evidence that I think relates to something directly before the murder, not
Before
after.
the murder.
I think I think there's a lot more evidence on after, and that's why we've talked about and think that there could be some maneuvering in using Harvey and any threats against him. Because remember, he's an older guy, so even the lowest level type charge, basically a life sentence for the guy, right?
Now, could we go through that text again? Did that text say that's what? That this is what Dad has wanted for his birthday? I don't think I heard any of that.
No.
It's got to be done. It's got to be a gift before. It's got to be given to him before his birthday, and I know you'll come through. So, so I guess the argument from the defense would be, if he were charged, or the argument not to charge would be, well, they intended to give him this birthday gift because they know he'd love it, but he didn't plan it. So that would be the counter argument.
Okay, so next, if I can find this, I think it's this one here. This is number 4. Again, this is bits of evidence from the Donna Adelson trial that we believe could lead to the potential indictment / arrest of Harvey Adelson. To what degree involved in Dan Markel's murder, that is a little bit unclear. But number 4 is a phone conversation, or at least a connection, that took place between Harvey and Sigfredo Garcia. Now, we know Sigfredo Garcia was the hitman, the actual trigger puller. So this was a conversation, or at least a connection, that took place between Harvey and Sigfredo Garcia. Now, that's about as direct connection as you've got.
For us to look at or compare. What we also had was a number of CDRs, or communication records, from various subjects in the investigation. We use analytical software to kind of help us out with this, to crunch large numbers, but we were able to actually compare all of the handsets that were here in Tallahassee around those specific locations and times with all of the records, the phones, and the phones that they were communicating with for all of our subjects in the investigation. And what we did find is, and this is slide 19, we did find a common number, this 7. That was a phone number that was present here in Tallahassee around the Premier Health and Fitness, that was also in the call detail records for one of the subjects of the investigation.
And was that subject Harvey Adelson?
It was, yes.
And is this Harvey Adelson?
It is, yes.
Okay, and this is an example of his call detail records?
That is correct.
Okay, so Harvey Adelson is the husband of Donna Adelson, father of Charlie Adelson and Wendy Adelson?
Correct.
All right, can you give us more information about this call that you found?
So what we see, and this is just an excerpt, I'm on slide 20, from Mr. Adelson's, Harvey Adelson's call detail records for July 1st of 2014. And we see that 786 number we just spoke about. And this is a good example of some of the things we see with call detail records. It looks like 3 calls or 3 entries here, but this is actually just one event. And in the records, we also see the kind of the routing, or the way a call like this one that was routed to voicemail, how it kind of traverses through the network. But these are 3 lines, or it looks like 3 events, but this is just one incoming phone call from that 786 number. And again, that was on July 1st of 2014 at 5:20 p.m.
Okay, so here we have this one call on July 1st, 2014. What was the duration of this one call?
The duration is listed as 37 seconds.
And 37 seconds as in, does that include the amount of time that it's taking a phone to ring?
In this case, it does not. They do provide us both a seizure time, which is how long the phone rings or how long it takes to connect, and then an overall duration.
Okay, so a 37-second call. Do we know whether this call was routed to voicemail?
This call indicates that it was routed to voicemail.
Okay, so the 37 seconds, would that include an amount of time for a voicemail to play and an amount of time for a message to be left, if a message was left?
It could, yes.
Was there any other communication in all of the phone records that you have between the 786 number you found and Harvey Adelson's phone?
No.
All right. So what you have is one seemingly random, out of the pile of phone numbers and calls that they tracked, one Harvey Adelson, Sigfredo Garcia connection. In and of itself, maybe nothing, but it is bizarre that they would have one another's contact information. Thoughts?
Well, I think Catherine Magwanoa answered that and said that apparently Sigfredo wanted to get paid, right? They wanted to get paid. And so he was looking to get the number so he could, dial himself and get paid. He didn't want to wait. And he got the number from somehow off the Adelson dental office site, and ended up being Harvey's cell. And so this is the voicemail from Sigfredo that was really meant for Charlie, who he was looking for, and it just went to Harvey's cell. And I just think that one call is kind of suspicious that it's a mistake to me. I mean, I kind of believe that. Although you know, the prosecutor didn't really tell us their thoughts about that. You know, about
They would,
whether or
and they
not.
wouldn't need to.
And they don't need to at
They
this
don't need
point,
to at this
right?
point. So I don't know. It's a thought. It's a nugget. It's something that, if fleshed out, could mean far more. So, oh, and I forgot to do my number 4 when I did that one. My bad.
You know, I had to put in number 4 when you did that. Okay.
Oh no. So I'm going to do it backwards.
All right.
Hmm.
And while we're doing that, while you're looking for your number 3, Kay Schmidt gifted 5 Justice TV.
Thank you, Kay Schmidt.
Already seen people thanking them, and it's so generous of you. And Joey does Joey 1, Joey 2, Joey 3. Thank you, Joey. You're always a pleasure. And Michael just really wishes that you were at every single trial so that you could have, what was that, cinnamon bun?
Cinnamon, yeah, it was a nice cinnamon roll.
But thank you all for doing that. For people that are in the chat, and many of you have paid it forward because you'll get to watch a lot of Michael. Michael really keeps up with our members, and we'll be doing more of that soon too.
Yes, and you are too. Yeah.
So that's a little nugget, but the question is, are nuggets enough? We'll see. There's another one. Let's go. Let's look at number 3.
Yep. Stand by. We're going to have number 3. All right. So this one might be more incriminating, but after the fact. Remember, there was that little phone conversation in which the disconnect happened in about 8 minutes. It's Charlie to Donna. The phone is disconnected. She keeps talking. Then the whole Vietnam and all
Charlie's
that.
in jail. Charlie's in jail. Right?
Yeah. It's literally the day after he is convicted. It's the day after.
Right.
And so we know what happened not long after that. This was the day that they headed for the airport and the day that there was an arrest. And, well, kind of went like this, although this did not get played in court.
No, I don't want to give it to you. Why do I have to? Because my attorney says why do I have to give it to you? This is evidence. She's under arrest. I have to go with you. I have to go. I have to leave. I can help you. No, I have to stay. Please don't do this. You need to grab the bags. Take the bags. Yeah. And you need to wait outside. Okay.
My husband's almost 80 years old. He can't
Yeah,
come with me.
Please, can I? No, you can't join me there. Oh, don't do this, please.
Please.
Oh,
Someone's got to help him get home. This is terrible. You can't do this. This is insane.
Is that okay with you? Please, give us that handcuffs on. She's not going anywhere. Please. Do you have anything in your pocket?
No. No.
Do you have anything of value in you?
No,
Plus, you have a necklace on.
Wanna go?
My-
Yeah, take it off. Yeah. And the earrings, the rings, take everything.
Okay, so to this point, let's talk about Harvey's actions, the surprise, his concern, and her concern for him. Donna says, how's he going to get home? They have no idea what's happening here, really. This is not exactly a normal day in the life of the Adelsons.
No.
So what's your take on their interaction? And we're looking at this from the perspective of, is there anything he does here that is incriminating?
Well, he kisses her. I guess that's incriminating. And so it means that they're still, I mean, he feels very together with her. And he knows why they're leaving for Vietnam, because he's been in the conversation with Charlie and her, he's been in the conversation with Charlie. We don't know whether he was on the conversation with Charlie.
We know he was in the room, and he was talking.
In the room.
And the transcript that was played for the jury very clearly identified his name as contributing to that conversation. So that means he heard all of the talk about Vietnam. He interacted to some degree, although it was far less than Donna. She was orchestrating the whole, we need Wendy, we need your help with some business affairs. And we need to find out, maybe somebody can tell us whether Vietnam or other countries would be better for non-extradition.
Right. So he heard all that. So, and he's interacting with it. But on the other hand, the police officers give him her bag that she's carrying on her shoulder.
Well, they don't care because the warrant's not for him, right?
Yeah, I
Why
know.
didn't they search her bag?
But you have Sanford there, right? Because they probably didn't have a warrant for her bag, and they could take it away from her, eliminate any risk, and then get a warrant for the bag afterwards. I mean, that's the proper procedure to do, as opposed to just taking it and searching it. Once they take it away
They did
from her,
ask, is there anything unsafe, the usual routine there.
in your pockets. I would know, though, something that came up here is that look what she's wearing. She's wearing a gray sweatshirt hoodie. And I only say that because in Wendy's book, her ex-husband in that book would always, at the very end of the book, would leave in his gray sweatshirt hoodie. And it just, for the first time, just threw me off as being kind of funny.
It is ironic. Not exactly a unique piece of clothing, but that is ironic. She's got the, your 8-10 hour flight clothes on because they're going from Miami to Dubai and then whatever layover. Some people think they were going to just bail out at Dubai, which is also a country with no extradition. But then if it carried on to Vietnam, you got a few more hours. You want to be comfortable.
Yeah.
I was curious if they were flying coach or business or first class even.
I don't know if we've seen the ticket. I mean, I'm sure.
I don't think I have.
Yeah.
So he's taking her earrings off now. I mean, it's a very, if my wife ever got arrested, I'd like to think that I would handle it this chauvinistically, or not chauvinistically.
No, this is not chauvinistic.
That would be bad. Chivalrously is what I was trying to say.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But
takes her earrings off.
Yeah, and he gives her a kiss, and he takes whatever he can to.
So what you're saying, the closeness. Moment. You're saying that the closeness.
I think he's in on it.
If the 54 years would indicate that he's in on it, that's what you're suggesting.
I mean, there's no level of. It wasn't even shock. It was like, oh, don't do this. It wasn't like, are you freaking crazy? What are you doing here? It was more anger on her part, and we've seen that play out. And just how do I help on Harvey's part? I don't know. I don't know if I could say he thought it was inevitable, but it certainly didn't seem to be a surprise.
Well, but maybe he thought it was inevitable. Maybe he learned about it after the fact and then thought it was inevitable and all that she would get arrested. But I don't think, how could they be on the jetway? I mean, talk about the last moment. And by the way, Aaron Penner, who's been a great member of our community, who
thank you, Aaron Penner.
Just thank you for the donation, but loves these countdowns, and the JSTV community is amazing. Yes,
I agree.
I agree. Yeah, absolutely. And so, we want you to talk about this because Michael's spent a lot of time putting these together. You'd
never know it. Sometimes the mechanics aren't the best, but I think it's, and this is just our opinion. Obviously, people could differ, and there could be 10 more things that weren't quite. But I wanted, we wanted stuff that would rise to the level of, leading directly to something else, if not good in and of itself. And I'm just, I'm looking behind the curtain of the prosecution's office. What have they got that we don't know? What have they not shared because they haven't had to? And we've had this conversation many times. How, if they do any sort of playing one against the other, how would they use Harvey against Wendy? How would they use Wendy against Harvey? And how would that interpersonal relationship play out? Most people believe Wendy would sell out her father in a heartbeat if it helped herself. And most people also believe that Harvey's not going to turn on, the daughter that's not either estranged or in prison.
Right. And then normally the police procedure would be to put pressure on but to arrest Harvey if you think you have a case of any sort for any crime, and then put pressure on the daughter to say, look, well, we'll give him probation, let him out, but you've got to come clean. And that's the way you normally do it. But this family is so crazy. And then remember, when you talk about Harvey, even in this context of kissing his wife and maybe what he knew, Rob had said that for Harvey's birthday, he didn't want any presents. So why would they be rushing to give him a present?
Now, of course, that comes from Rob, who's not exactly at the Thanksgiving dinner table.
But he was at the birthday party.
He was at the birthday party. Interesting, right? So it's possible they didn't make him part of any birthday present plan. And I've not heard of the birthday present. Have you ever heard of any magnificent birthday
No,
presents?
I haven't heard of any other birthday presents said that he got any birthday presents.
So, and that of course leads to the prosecution's belief that the present was the killing of Dan Markel. So you need more than that. And so each of these little nuggets, I think they need a lot more work to get to planning and carrying out the murder than they do learning about it and protecting his family after the fact.
Okay, so
Can we
that's
see some more of this just for fun?
yes, absolutely.
Because once we arrive at County Yale, they're gonna make you remove all that.
Can I call my attorney?
You can, you have a passport already?
Where am I going?
Just hold the company finger.
Where am I going?
You're going to the Dade County jail.
They County Yale. No, this is right here, the one on.
Kisses her again.
Yeah. See ya, honey. Have a good trip.
Oh, that's the
Get
same.
that
That's
darn
the
earring
same
off.
video. Yeah, or maybe is that the same video from a different?
Oh, that could be.
Yeah,
You may be right.
Yeah.
Well, just
He
two different
took it
body
back.
cams.
Yeah.
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 This
Well,
was a
I'll
little
tell you.
cloudy. So there's the, it's a Arab Emirates airline, clearly. There's nobody who just wears those clothes wandering around. And there's our buddy, Pat Sanford.
Yeah, I'll go back out and just.
You're making a mistake. Another mistake.
Yeah, you're making a mistake.
So he's still with her,
He's
which is why
defending
he doesn't get on the. Look, one could say if he were guilty, Michael, he's
Hold on. I want to hear this. Hold on. I want to hear. Go ahead. I want to hear you.
If one could say if he were guilty, okay, knowing she just got arrested, he's not arrested. There's no warrant against him. He has got a visa. He has got a passport. He could walk in that jetway, get on that plane, and he could leave if he were guilty. So the fact, you could argue the fact that he stayed and did not flee would show that he's not guilty.
So yeah, so there's no real lack of consciousness of guilt as a thing. There's either consciousness of guilt or you can't prove the negative that he must not have been guilty because he didn't leave. But
but if you were guilty, wouldn't you leave? Wouldn't you
That's a very good question.
Bye, honey.
I think that's
nice.
I think that's a super good question because the dynamic between these two and the whole family and the whole arrogant belief that we're all good, we're all above the law, we do whatever we want, we get whatever we want. I don't know if you were to tell him, if you could, tell him without it happening that she's going to be convicted. You realize that if he were convinced of that, I think he would hop on the plane. But I don't think he had any belief she would ever be convicted for whatever reason, either because he didn't think she did it or because they didn't have the evidence that he thinks they would have needed to convict her. But if he would have gotten on that plane, I mean, that's a Casablanca moment. That would have been unbelievable. Okay, I'll be in touch. I mean, God bless you and good luck.
Yeah. So it's interesting how you can view evidence two different ways. But 54 years of marriage, he just wasn't leaving her. Whether he knew about it, didn't know about it, whether he knew about it after the fact, he wasn't leaving her on the baby for some reason. Look, there was a recent case that was shown on TV that our friend Cheryl McCollum was involved in with a man accused of killing his wife years ago, right? And and the twist of the case is that the woman who was killed was the daughter of a serial killer and a wife who helped the serial killer husband. The serial husband died in prison, and yet she never left him. Why? Because she loved him. She asked him to understand, why didn't you ever leave your husband? Because I loved him. So that could be going on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I have no doubt about it. The codependence, and I mean in a good way, between this couple. After 54 years, you're like one person. So, it doesn't surprise me. I just wonder if that's because he is in concert with her on the wrongdoing, or he is just naive about it and, loves his wife of 54 years.
Yep.
Yeah. I want to watch a little more of this.
Listen to me.
Yeah. I'll call.
Get an Uber, go home.
I will.
Take
I
it
will.
easy.
I will.
All right.
Yes.
I think she told him to get an Uber.
Oh, it's coming, sweetheart. It's coming.
And she's calling him sweetheart.
I'm sorry?
her driver.
It's in my
Yeah.
purse.
Yeah. How it
Yeah, then you could give it.
Sure.
It's
Do you need her
almost there.
passport? Or can I give it to the husband? The passport can I give it?
What's else?
Where is it?
It's in the blue and white, it's in the blue and white,
Yeah, but I'm gonna get.
Like, honey, where do you keep your wallet? It's just.
And the license, the address on your license is correct?
yes.
She needs all her,
When she goes to the jail, they
They're all in here though.
Yes, they work. If I take them here, what will happen is when you go there, they possibly toss them out. So when you go to there, you will meet the nurse and the doctor, and then they'll work in conjunction with the hospital to get you whatever you need.
Yeah, but I don't have this with me, I know what I
Yes.
I have a,
Is it multiple or is just one or two?
it's, no, there's a bag of medication in here. Is that what you're asking me?
She can take
No, I know. I was just trying to find out if it was like one or two. Yeah, if it was one or two, then she maybe could take the name down.
Do you need anything else from her?
Can I ask
Or
you
we're good to
something?
go?
Can someone just get my husband outside and
So I'll get her.
No, the gentleman here will assist him in any way.
I have the ring, hold on.
Let me have her. Please. No,
Okay.
A couple of things here. First of all, have you ever been handcuffed like that?
No, I've never been handcuffed.
I have been it was a story or something I was doing. It's a very uncomfortable position. Standing, let alone sitting, is even worse. So she's still trying to help her. It's over there in my, it's over on the side, and she's worried. Can you just get my husband to the curb? Like he's an invalid, and he's like, I got this. And the other concern is the meds. And having now looked at a lot of the records from Leon County Jail, the ones they're not incident reports, but they're actually events. Every single event, and an event could be looked in on the inmate and seemed to be asleep on her bed, and that'll be a line item. And there are hundreds of them. She's been there 700 some days, right, up to the point of conviction. And they have the record regarding the meds that she's taken. And she's taken. They don't identify the med, but they identify when a med has been given and taken. It's a lot, and that happens as you get a little older. You got to have drugs to keep some things working, and so she's concerned because she has a packet of her pills for this trip. Who knows? That'd be interesting. How many pills were there? Was this like, I don't know if I can get these again in Vietnam, I better store up, or is it like, here's a month's supply?
Oh, that'd be interesting. I mean, that's an interesting take. Yeah, we didn't hear anything about that.
Yeah.
Wow.
What other things? I mean, do you take enough stuff to get you through your vacation for a month, or do you take stuff as if you're never coming back? And pills would be, especially a country like Vietnam. I mean, I know it's not a planet off in the middle of the solar system somewhere, but they ain't going to have a Walgreens in every corner, I'm pretty sure. So you'd want to cover your med needs. So that was a huge concern. Of course, she couldn't take those, so she's now forced in the jail system to do with what you can there. We learned in that hearing that wasn't going so well. You couldn't get more than Tylenol, really, no matter what your problem was. So, and they do nothing for narrow ear canals that are built up with wax. We've learned that as well.
So I don't have the meds, honey, they're all in here.
So you got people stacked up to come in who are going on the flight, and this is what they see.
And they're wondering what this older woman did that she's arrested.
Exactly. Is this? I mean, they do something. She do something to the plane. I mean, and then she takes this long, lonely walk, and it was an evening flight because it's the typical red eye when you're going, international. And playing that elevator music. She's taking that long walk.
And they all know that they're on camera, so they're treating her.
Body cams have done some good things. Yeah, I mean, I don't think she should be abused, but maybe they are being a little more delicate with her.
And we don't see. I don't know. So they're not focused on Harvey and what he's doing right now because
Yeah.
he's got to get an Uber and he doesn't know how to take an Uber. He doesn't know how to call for an Uber.
Yeah, call Wendy.
Yeah, call you to order.
She cares. Let me see. I think it's the walk out, and then she's in the car for a long time. So I thought the most interesting part was just this whole interaction when they were at the gate.
Right. Between
And,
her
and what
and us.
and we heard the conversation. We heard a lot of the testimony about, well, why wasn't she arrested while they were sitting, in the area there waiting? What's your
Right.
take on that? Because I
They
always
wanted to
felt
make sure that she was leaving.
I think that was
they
the
wanted-
single reason.
Right.
They didn't really articulate that in trial, though. The testimony was by both. I think the main testimony came in with Pat Sanford because we saw him there in the jetway. It was his operation. They made it sound like it was a safety issue. That way they had her in a confined area.
Right.
If she was going to bolt, if she was going to cause a ruckus, it wouldn't be out in the area where the passengers might be. I think it's more once that ticket beep,
Scan,
you've intended. You can intend to flee right up to the point you don't, right?
I agree with you. I think that ticket had to be scanned. They had to be on the jetway. They were going to the plane. And we've seen cases where people are arrested in the planes, so they get in to make sure that they're seated in the plane. Here, but they obviously with the UAE flight they didn't want to do that. But that's what I think too. And maybe it's a combination of both. I think they articulated most safety, but I think that they wanted to make sure. And I think somebody said once they put their ticket in, we know that she's going or something like that.
Yeah,
Someone
I mean,
did have
again,
that in passing.
the intent element is pretty darn important. So you don't want to give them any wiggle room to suggest, no, I was wrestling with it and I changed my mind. No,
Right.
You're basically a foot on the plane.
Right. And by the way, while you're looking for your number 2, ML, member for 3 months. Thank you, ML, member for 3 months. Really appreciate it. Missy says 9 months. That's a baby. Love the JSTV people. Thank you, Missy. She does a lot of hard work for us.
Yes, she does.
She
really does.
And Joy Schmehar, hi Joy, gifted 5 Justice Serve TV memberships. And I know you're paying it forward or backward or whatever the saying is. And people have already received them in the comments, and again, truly appreciate it because $2.99 a month in today's times with what things cost is expensive for many people, and those that are gifting those memberships are just great. So really, really appreciate it.
Yep, and I would like to say Justice Serve TV is a necessity, but it's really more of a luxury. So, those that can get it, great. Okay,
Thank you.
So where are we now? Dun, 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 dun. Again, looking at the 5 reasons we think Harvey Adelson may be a target because there is evidence that he somehow collaborated, cooperated, knew of, hid.
Confederated, my new word, confederated.
Yes, confederated. The South shall rise again in the death of Dan Markel. Maybe not to the degree of others, but is there enough evidence? Well, this is number 2. This has to do with where did it go? Oh, there it is. The money drop. Just your usual, $10, $100 bills stapled together like we all keep our money. That had been physically washed by Donna Adelson. And so for this bit of testimony and evidence, we go to Catherine McBenoit. Now we know she's a liar. We know that she's lied in the first 2 trials because she thought she was helping herself, but now she's come clean. And there is other support for this information about the money, where it went, and who, most importantly, dropped it off. But I think she had the most interesting testimony, so we're going to listen to that.
He was pretty frantic, just pacing back and forth.
Talking about Charlie.
He had a gun in his hand.
Okay, was that unusual behavior for him?
Yes, ma'am.
Did he say anything about his parents when you arrived at his house that night?
He told me that his parents just left.
Did you end up staying the night there?
Okay, just to interject here, this is the night of the murder that morning. Okay, his parents had just been there.
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Were you planning on spending the night there?
No, ma'am, I was not.
Okay. Originally, was your plan to get the money and take it to the 2 men that killed Mr. Markel?
Yes, ma'am, I was.
All right. What happened the next morning?
Well, since that night, since he was like pacing back and forth and he had given me his Xanax, that's why I fell asleep. And
Okay.
that's why
Did
it
he
was,
take Xanax as well?
yes, ma'am, he took one as well.
Okay. And the next morning, did something happen with the money?
Yes, ma'am. So I woke up. I was like, I got to get out of here. And he told me that the money is in the trunk of my car.
All right. And was the money in the trunk of your car?
I actually did not check it. I just got my keys and left.
So you believed him that it was there.
Yes, ma'am.
And when you got to where you were going, where did you go to deliver the money?
I was trying to contact Sigfredo and had a hard time trying to contact him. And then I eventually ended up in the alleyway of where Lewis lived at that time.
At Luis Rivera's residence.
Yes, ma'am.
And did Garcia show up there when you pulled up there?
Yeah, he just kind of jumped in my car. I didn't know where he came from.
All right. And was he able to get the money?
Yes, I told him that his money was in the trunk of the car.
And he was able to remove it, and you observed him removing it, and the money was there.
Yes, ma'am. He went to the bag, grabbed it, and then that's time he left.
How did you get your cut of the money?
I don't know if it was later on that night that he came back to my apartment or the following day, and then he put it in the closet.
How was your cut of the money packaged?
It wasn't like a cut. It was just basically it was in a bag, in a plastic bag, grocery bag, and I believe there was like a paper bag and then a Ziploc bag inside it.
All right, so the inner thing was a Ziploc bag.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. When you opened the Ziploc bag, did you notice that the money was stapled together?
Yes, ma'am.
It was. Okay. Did you notice something else unusual about the money?
At that moment, I didn't when I opened it, but a couple of days after the fact, it was wet and starting to mold.
The money itself was damp to the touch.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. And did you ever mention that fact to Charlie Adelson?
I'm pretty sure I contacted him and told him why is the money wet.
What do you mean pretty sure? You did or
you
didn't?
That I did.
Okay. And when you contacted him and said the money's wet, or you just mentioned to him the money's wet, did he have a response?
Yes, ma'am. He told me
Go
told
ahead.
me that that his mom washed the money.
That she physically washed the money.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So now you may say, well, hey, Harvey in that testimony was really only mentioned once when Catherine Magdalene was saying that the parents had been there. True. But there is plenty of other evidence and tracking information that puts the Adelsons, including Harvey, at Charlie's house at or about the time this drop took place. And so that's going to be fleshed out in any action against Harvey because, again, it's an after-the-fact issue. No doubt. It's not a before-the-shooting issue. It's an after-the-fact issue. But it's something that suggests Harvey had knowledge of and assisted in the payment for the murder.
Well, I have a question that just came to me as we're talking. She said when she got the money, it was stapled together, and we saw that you had stapled money together with regard to this. And then Charlie said he's the one who stapled money together because he kept it in the safe stapled. So if Donna and Harvey brought the money up, supposedly it being Harvey or Donna's money, or the Adelson money from the dental practice, why was it stapled, which is what Charlie did? And
here's what I think happened.
Now, okay,
it's a good question. There's a period of time, and I'm unclear of how much it was at this time, between the money drop at Charlie's and the money by Charlie being put in her trunk. I think Charlie stapled the wet washed money together. So Donna washes it, brings it in that form to Charlie. Because that's what normal people do, he staples it. And now the wet stapled money is in a bag in her trunk.
Yeah, but there's no indication. It was put into his trunk, and then they got it out of the trunk in the morning. That's what I got.
It's very unclear how it got in the trunk.
Yeah,
and there's a period of time between the drop. So obviously it's not in the.
I thought that his mother. The testimony I think was that the parents had put it in Charlie's trunk. So how did the stapled cash get, unless it was a family thing that Harvey and Charlie stapled money from the dental office, and then if there's any indication that Harvey ever stapled money, then I think we got
that would be interesting. It could also be that this stapled money was somehow provided to the Adelsons, that they were keeping it, or maybe they had some of their own that had been provided by Charlie, and that they then were basically providing it back. So the stapled money traveled back and forth from Charlie's. I think that it got stapled that before it was delivered to Sigfredo, and she didn't get hers till she said 2 days. She didn't even look at hers for 2 days.
Right.
Weird.
Right.
Very weird.
Yeah, really weird. Right.
But I still think the time lapse between the drop of the money and the delivery of the money to Sigfredo Garcia is an open question, but it makes perfect sense.
But,
that
but
he
I
would have done
want,
that.
I would have want, I mean, I think I want that because before I was like, okay, they drove the money up. I mean, it's got to be taken out. It probably came to the office. Obviously, maybe Harvey, the prosecution argued he knew about it because he's really the generator of the money. It's his dental practice by, around then with Charlie, he and Charlie. But then with the stapling, I'd really want some evidence that Harvey stapled the money or that Charlie stapled it and gave it to his father. His parents kept it. And they were really all like engaging in some kind of tax fraud.
Yep,
I mean,
I
want that connection.
Yeah, the underground economy. Yeah,
the underground economy.
Yeah, the underground economy. But I think that's a valid point of investigation. And if they were to find that the stapling of the money is, it's a family tradition. Decades, generations of our Adelmans have stapled our money.
Adelson
that would be bad.
Money. Yeah, that would
be bad. But again,
Suma J, by the way, Suma J, just before you make that point, thank you so much for this large donation. Peace to and for our
Where's it, Suma J?
Justice Suma J, our Justice Serve TV community. Yes, today we definitely want peace. And I would point out to you that poor woman, Irina, who was stabbed on the train. Her name means peace in Ukrainian. And then we also have Crystal Limited Edition. Thank you for this donation. Sending you so much love and light. You both are amazing. My dad has Lewy body dementia and is failing. You have kept me company and given me comfort while I'm sitting with him. Thank you so much. And we understand. We all understand. And I just think that people like you who are just so helpful with families and have families that help and care and love, right? And then we watch this. It's hard for all of us to understand what's going on in this family when you hear that. And all prayers for your dad.
Yeah.
But I so rudely interrupted you.
I don't remember what I was going to say, to be honest with you. Remember that this was the evening after the murder took place. So the closer you can link Harvey to the event, the more likely he's going to be looked at for the event and not just after the fact. It could be very very tightly sliced. Let's say the event happens at or about noonish, and he then is brought into the mix at 3 or 4 in the afternoon, and now he's part of delivering this money and all of that, but still takes him out of planning and helping.
Right. I don't see any evidence here of him. I don't see any proof of him planning or helping.
No, unless you go back to my number one. Oh.
Well, we're having
my number 5. I'm sorry, my number 5, the birthday gift. That may or may not have. That may or may not lead to something else.
Yeah. And we're going to throw these out. Remember, we're going to say Harvey has not been arrested. We do not know if he's one of the conspirators listed at the grand juries. It would hear if going back to indictment. And as he stands, he's definitely innocent. He's not even been arrested. And even if he were arrested, he'd be presumed innocent unless and until a court of law jury found him guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. So
Exactly. So I think, again, the top 5 reasons that we think Harvey Adelson may be charged with some level of connection to the death of Dan Markel. And so we are now to the number 1 reason. Ironically, because of this particular piece of information eluded the authorities, there's not a lot of visual support for this. There's not even a lot of audio support for this. You'll recall that the bump was on April 19, 2016, correct? And the 2 weeks after that, it was a flurry of activity, all kinds of stuff going on.
Four more bumps.
Yes, the kind of these, I don't know if you call them A, B, C, D, and E, but it was all because they weren't responding to the initial bump on the street. So now we're May 6, 2016, and at a location that the cops could not bug, for lack of a better term, but there was a meeting that was taking place. And it was a meeting between some very important folks, Donna Adelson, Charlie Adelson, and Harvey Adelson. They met here. They met at the condominium in South Beach, and they did this meeting at or near the pool. It's a little unclear on where it was, but the key is the cops couldn't videotape. The cops couldn't even get sound. All they got was confirmation that these three convened there for some purpose. I started calling it the Godfather meeting, where something is happening, and I've got one more picture that is
Donna wanted to go out by the pool, didn't want to talk on the phone on any of these after any of these bumps when she was talking to Charlie, and Charlie came over. A beautiful view, though. I mean, I have to say, beautiful blue waters. Looks peaceful, calm, and serene. But I think there was testimony that the police couldn't get in there because it was basically a gated condominium. If you want.
I mean, we're talking amazing neighbors and amazing costs. I think Charlie's place, which was in a similar building on South Beach, was 1.7 million. So, and Harvey's place, which he's been living in by himself for quite some time, they're in that range, okay, for a couple of thousand square feet. And I think they were on the 9th floor. Generally, these cost more as you go up. So actually, the 9th floor might have been considered, the dregs.
10 to 20.
Oh, you're slumming. You're slumming down there on the 9th floor. So it was in this pool area, we believe, that conversation took place. And I believe that is the top reason that they will be looking at Harvey, or already have enough information on him to arrest him, if for nothing else but for accessory after the fact and trying to cover up what was done. And this meeting could have covered all kinds of areas, right? Could have been before, during, after. But it took place on the 6th. At the very least, it had to do with how do I help you guys get away with this? That's my opinion.
That's your opinion. Okay, so of course, coulda, woulda, shoulda. All right. So before I answer you, let me just point out ML Super Sticker. Thank you for that donation, so ML. Because we're going to continue to cover this case, and you'll help pay to feed Michael Bryant. And he doesn't travel first class; he just drives himself everywhere.
But I'm telling you, they got some nice crackers in the vending machine there at the Leon County. Really, they have it set up nicely there. I have no problem with Leon County.
And Jersey Girl, thank you for that donation, and thank you for your incisive coverage. We really appreciate all of you who are watching. Michael, what is the date of the Godfather meeting? Now, we actually have that.
That's May 6th. That was May 6th.
May 6th, right.
Yeah, so that's May roughly 6th, 2 weeks after the bump, give or take.
Right. And that's the 2 week of all that frenzy and all that's going on, because there were a number of bumps, right?
Oh my gosh! And there was conversations back and forth, and so many phone calls. And this was, I think it was day 4 of testimony, maybe day 5, where the jury was, they had to listen to all of this stuff, and it was brutal, and it was a lot of work. Clearly, it paid off for the prosecution, but it was during that period of time, that 2 weeks after the bump, that all of these, even though they didn't reach back out to the bumper, the FBI undercover guy, they were back and forth with one another, trying to figure out what it was all about.
That's the first meeting. Was that the first meeting that, because the Dolce Vita was Catherine Magloire and Charlie, that they really had that bag, the little mesh.
Yes, the one where the sweater vest came in. McVie, I think his name was, or McVane, or anyway, sweater vest guy. He's the one that was able to separate out all of the extraneous sound, and so you could kind of maybe pick out a few words. Even with the transcript, it was dicey. But yes, that was an important meeting.
Teresa, Super Sticker, thank you so much. Really appreciate that. So important meeting. So this is the first time we see Charlie, Donna, and this is before the Vietnam call. Charlie, Donna, and Harvey together, and they went to a far table. Donna took them to a far table. Was testimony, the far end of the pool. There was nobody there. No one could get in. No one could listen, and no one could hear. And so, if let's assume you think Harvey then learned about everything. Then, okay, the hits already happened, right? The money's already been paid. Can you be an accessory after the fact because you learn about a crime and don't report it? I don't
think so, to be honest. If that was truly the first time, he's an idiot. Because all these other interactions we've seen up to and including the day of the shooting, it'd be impossible, in my opinion, for him not to know. I just think it's hard to believe.
But that's different than proof beyond a reasonable doubt.
Well, of course. We're just talking about what's there now. We're not talking about what the prosecution may have, what may happen. We have no idea. This is just stuff we've learned through the trial against Donna and a little bit from the Charlie trial.
And remember, we only knew about one bump. We didn't know that there were 4 more. Okay.
Thank you, Teresa.
Thank you,
Pre-care
Teresa, very
read.
much. But we didn't know that there were 4 more. We didn't know that until this trial. So, and we learned a lot of things in this trial that we didn't know. We even heard Harvey's name come up more. So
we saw
have
him
no
front and
idea,
center when the
but we just
testimony
heard
about
what
him
I'm saying.
showed up.
Yeah, and Wendy did say, well, who does your mom love? And she said, well, her husband, and we do see that here. So, but I'm not sure love itself can get you a conviction of guilt involving any type of crime related to a homicide or a murder, unless you have proof beyond a reasonable doubt. But these are our 5 we have right now that we were able to glean from this trial. If you were listening, it is a good starting point if indeed the prosecution is intending to go after the Adelson and they view them as a crime family.
Yep, and to stay tuned for as the Adelsons turn on one another, because I don't think the story is over.
Yeah, no, and none of us think the story is over. And we did have Stephen Webster on yesterday, who thinks that Wendy Adelson will be arrested within the next 2 months. But we'll see. It's been 11 years, Michael Bryant. 11 years, unbelievable. 11 years. And on that note, I would say that as I always say at the end of these shows dealing with the Adelsons, that the true victims here are, of course, Professor Markel, Dan Markel, but the 2 children who never got to know their father and who, gosh, no wonder what circumstances they've been raised. And interestingly enough, Wendy's not near her parents. She wasn't near her parents. Her mom was still living in South Florida. She wasn't there. She was in Tallahassee for a long time. Then she went to and that would be the argument with her, that she stayed in Tallahassee and then she went to Texas and now she's supposedly going to Colorado. So victims are truly victims, and we do remember you again. We'll never forget 911. Please remember my brother tomorrow, Flight 11. Yes, we will again say that because we are remembering your brother.
Never forget.
And never forget. Thank you very much for commenting and bringing it to our attention. And we're just pointing out again for everybody in the chat, over 1,000 of you are in the chat, and our 27,000 subscribers. On Monday, by the way, is coming on our 1-year anniversary, September 15th. So in honor of that, we really would like you to all hit like, subscribe, share, notify. You see, if you're subscribed, you can get one of those memberships that are so generously gifted by people. If you're in that subscription list, they're randomly assigned by YouTube. We don't have anything to do with it, but you can't even be eligible unless and until you hit that, that subscription button. And we do have a goal. Now, we know we're not going to make 30,000 by Monday, although we would have loved to, but certainly by the holidays, we definitely would like to do that.
Yeah. And then we've got some plans for the second year. We've talked before. We'll do the book club. We're going to do the hunt. And we're going to do some specific member lives with additional coverage on cases either that we're covering on the main anyway, or maybe some cases that we aren't covering anywhere but through our members, because we appreciate that. So subscribe, and then if it happens to lead to membership, great. But we appreciate you being here one way or the other.
And absolutely, and the community that you are built. Thank you all to our 27,000 followers. All right, with that,
do your thing. What's your thing? Oh, you already had to hit the like, and comment. And do comment. Oh, by the way,
comment. Don't forget comments. Right.
Oh, look at Missy's already up with the 27K. I feel like we just had the 26K. And on Friday, we are doing a comments show. So tell you how we use them, how we read them, how we appreciate them. Comment if you can. In the meantime,
and tomorrow we have a show also.
Yeah, tomorrow we're going to take a look at. I think this woman is fascinating. This is the jury foreperson for Adelson,
right.
JC. And
right.
She was out there, and I think she finally said her final piece, but she was all over X and in the way I've never seen before to kind of talk about the process. And even to the point where when she got her jury summons, having no idea what the case was going to be or whether she'd be chosen, she was excited about the prospect of being on a jury for the first time. Unique person, and the method she used to convey to the public what this process was like, what the experience was like, what her role was like. It was
Fabulous.
great.
It was
Fascinating.
fabulous. I
So
love
we
her.
dig into that.
I hope she comes on. Arlene Wiley, member for 5 months. Michael Linder, you're outstanding. Thank you so much. Well, we love our community, so thank you very much. And Missy is going to try to reach out to juror number 6. She's going to try to reach out to JC and all. We have Missy's got a whole list. All right.
Yes. So in the meantime,
list,
tomorrow we're going to at least talk about her experiences, and we can reflect on how that looks in the deliberation room, how we would experience that and appreciate it if we had a jury 4-person doing what this person did. She's great. So
and then you do have 2 other shorts we are posting, and that's not clothes that you're wearing. It's one taking a look at the Arena case from a historical purpose, and you all know that it's been a brutal week for just brutal homicides. But we're going to take a look at the Arena case. Ilan just became a YouTube member. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And then we have the second one, which is taking a look at the difference between Wendy and Charlie, right?
Yeah. Wendy's most recent accommodations, Charlie's most recent accommodations.
So those are going up in the next 2 days too. Maybe tonight. We'll see.
Yeah. We'll see what we can do. All right then. So tomorrow, I forgot what we're doing tomorrow. Oh yeah, the juror.
The juror.
So have a great night. This is Justice Served TV. I'm Michael Bryant. That's Linda Kenney Baden. Hey, try to do the right thing.
Riding flames, they charge with mine.